Hi. Today we're going to be looking at fractions, decimals and percentages, how to convert from one to the other. We're going to be looking at percentage increase and decrease. We're going to be looking at all different aspects of fractions, decimals and percentages that will crop up in your exam, and make no mistake, they will crop up in your exam. So let's start with this. Most people know these, that a quarter is 0.25, which is 25%. A half is 0.5, which is 50%. And 3/4 is 0.75, which is 75%. Most people know that just by looking at them. The problem comes when it's not one of these three. What about a sixth or an eighth or 2/7? How do you get from there to there to there? That's what we're going to be looking at first of all. So if I get rid of these two and just keep a quarter up there for now, it's quite a simple process that once you've seen it and done it a couple of times, you'll see how easy it is. So we're going to convert a quarter to a decimal. So you divide the top number by the bottom number. Now I know that looks wrong. It's normally the larger number that goes inside. But I promise you, top divided by bottom. Okay? 4 into 1 is 0. Put the decimal point in while you're working out. It saves the hassle of trying to put it in the right place when you finish. Put it in now. And we need a naught. And I'll show you where that comes from in a bit. So now you've got 10. Excuse me. Some people like to leave it like that. Some people like to move that one over there. Don't matter which way. Either way, you've got 10. So 4 into 10 is 2. But that's only 8. So you've got 2 left. Add another naught. Put that 2 in that you've got left. And 4 into 20 is 5. Easy as that. Don't forget, all you've got to do in your exam is that bit, to show the markers that you know what you've got to do. You can actually work that out on your calculator. So you've only got to put the framework in. Let's just get rid of that. Okay, so there we are. 0.25. Where do the zeros come from? A lot of people ask me that. So if you imagine a whole number, there we go, 2, a whole number. With every whole number, it can be followed by 0.0. It's still 2. But there's as many zeros there as you want to put. Because after a decimal point, you've got tenths, you've got hundredths, you've got thousandths, etc. We normally stop at 3 zeros because 1/1000th of anything isn't accurate enough. So you don't normally see any more than 3 after the decimal point, unless you need to be mega accurate. So that's where the zeros come from. You can use them. And you can use as many as you need. So hopefully that answers a question that I'll get asked quite regularly. It's all right putting the zeros in, Keith, but where do they come from? So, so how do you get from there to there? That's quite easy as well. You multiply by 100. Now, you could, if you really wanted to and you've got loads of time to spend on your exam, which you haven't, you could put that as a sum. 0.25 times 100 and work it out over here. Pointless. You can multiply by tens and multiples of tens just by moving the decimal point. So we want to move it twice, because we're multiplying by 100. Every time we move it, you're multiplying by 10. So 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, etc, etc, etc. And if you move it to the left, you're dividing by the same. You're dividing by 10, by 100, by 1,000, etc. So we need to multiply by 100, so we need to move this twice. Think of McDonald's. See the sign outside McDonald's? Okay, it's in yellow, mine's in red, but you can see what I'm doing. Move it twice and it ends up there, which is a whole number, so you get 25%. Simple as that. So you're dividing the fraction, top by the bottom, you get 0.25. You times that by 100, move the decimal point twice, you got 25%. Let's do another one. I'll go back to black, I think. Let's try an eighth. So you divide the top by the bottom, 8 into 1 go, put the decimal point in, add a 0, you got 10. 8 into 10 is 1, but that's only 8. You've got 2 left. Put a 0, put your 2 that you've got left. You've now got 20. 8 into 20 is 2, that's 16. You want 20, so you've got 4 left. Put another 0 in. Remember, you've got plenty to play with. 8 into 40, exactly 5. So we've got nothing left. We don't need another nought. We're done. So 1/8 as a decimal, 0.125 times 100. Move the decimal point twice. Once, twice. And you end up 12.5%. It's as simple as that. And as I said, in your exam, let's say you've got a sixth to work out. All you need to do, 1 divided by 6, get the calculator, 1 divided by 6, put the answer in there, times 100, do that on your calculator, and put your final answer in there. Piece of cake. That's all you have to do. Okay? So, how do you go backwards? That's easy as well. In fact, let's get rid of all of it. So we've got a quarter, which we now know is 0.25, and we know that that's 25%. Percent, what does it mean? Per means every, cent is 100, every 100. That's all it means. So it's 25 out of 100, basically. And you can write that like that. 25, think of this line as out of, 25 out of 100. And you can cancel that down to its simplest form by using 25. 25 will go into 25 once and into 100 4 times, and you're back where you started, at a quarter. That's all you do, that's it. Piece of cake. And what about if you want to get from the percentage to the decimal? You can do that as well. There's the percentage. Nothing. There's the percentage. 25, it's a whole number. There's your decimal point. You multiplied that by 100 to get there, so divide it by 100 to get back. Moving the decimal point to the left will divide. So your decimal point ends up in front of the 2. You can put a 0 if you want to. So you're now back from the percentage to there. It's not difficult. In fact, if you get any of these in your exam, which you probably will, these are points that they're giving away, they're marks that they're giving away, because this is easy, once you've got the idea. So if we had a half, 0.5, 50%, 50 out of 100 for the percentage. Cancel that down to its simplest form. 50 into 50 is 1, 50 into 100 is 2, and there you are, you're back again. And you've got 50% there, which is a whole number. So your decimal point goes there, divide it by 100, it ends up in front of the 5, put your 0 in the front, and you're back again. It's as simple as that. Thank you for that. That driver agreed, I think. It really is that simple. You don't have to sit there worrying about this or trying to work it out, or it's that easy. So where do you find the fraction part? Okay, let's say we want 1/5 of £250. How would you do that? You divide the amount, 250, by the bottom number of the fraction. And that will give you 1/5. So 5 into 25 is 5, and that's it. So 1/5 of £250 is £50. Third of 330. 330 divided by 3, the bottom number of the fraction. 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 3 is 1, 110. So this helps with questions like, a lady sees a coat in a shop, it's £75, but there's a sale on, and there's 15% off. How much is the coat in the sale? That brings us to percentage parts. %, of £75. The coat was £75. There's 15% off, so you need to find 15% of 75. 75 times 15 divided by 100. So 75 times 15 is 1125 over 100, or divided by 100, which will give you £11.25. 11, let me show you that again. $1,125 is a whole number. So your decimal point, if you wanted to put one in, would be there. Divide by 100, so you move it left twice. £11.25. That's the 15% of £75. That's not the cost of the coat. That's the discount from the coat. So you now have to do 75 minus 11.25 which will give you £64.75p. So let's recap. The coat is £75 normally, but there's a sale, and the sale gives you 15% off. So you need to find 15% of £75. You do that, 75 times 15 divided by 100, all on your calculator, remember, and you end up with £11.25p. That's your discount. £11.25 off £75 will give the new cost of the coat of £64.75p. That's how you find a percentage part. Now, the thing is, there are all sorts of ways to find percentage parts or percentage values. But this is the one that will work for any percentage, for any amount. So, you could call the formula, if you like, the percentage times the value divided by 100. And to replace those with figures, 15% or 15 times 75, divide that by 100. Always divide by 100. That will get, that formula there will give you any percentage of any value, no matter how big or how small it is. Use that. Remember that, and you'll be able to work out any percentage. Going back to fractions, over on this half of the board, you're dividing the value by the bottom number of the fraction. So you want a fifth of £250, you divide 250 by 5, that will give you 1/5, which is £50. So, what about if it's more than that though? I can get rid of this line. In fact, let's get rid of everything on there. What about if you want 3/5? Make that look like a 5. 3/5 of 300. I'll keep using money. Doesn't matter. Could be 300 anything. The previous one could have been 250 anything. I'm just using money because people tend to understand it better when it's money. So, 3/5 of £300. Two ways of doing it. And this is the easiest. You divide by 5 just like you did with 1/5. 5 into 30 is 6. So we're talking £60 as a fifth. You want 3. So times it by 3, which will give you 180. When you divide by the bottom number of a fraction, that will give you 1 of that fraction. So when you divide by 5, it will give you 1/5. You divide by 8, it will give you 1/8. If you want more, then you need to multiply the original answer. So we wanted 3, we divide by 5, that will give us 1, which is £60, but we wanted 3, times it by 3, £180. So here's a little formula or a thing to remember. You divide by the bottom, multiply by the top. And you can practice that even with 1/5. You divide by the bottom and you multiply by the top. So dividing by the bottom gives you 60. You want 1 times 1 is 60 anyway. So it still works. Divide by the bottom, multiply by the top, that will give you any fraction part of any value. There are several ways of doing some of this, but I'm trying to give you the easiest way for each one, so that you're only having to remember one rather than several. So with fractions, divide by the bottom, multiply by the top. With percentages, it's the percentage times the value divided by 100. They're the two easiest ways of finding the separate values that you're looking for.